Hello, YouTube. I'm Wardy, and you might be wondering, Wardy, it was only a week since you last did a YouTube video where you casted just for YouTube. Yes, that is true. And I'm back again today. Isn't that just unbelievable, guys? A second YouTube exclusive, 2 in 2 weeks. I am on a roll again. Now, I'm really quite seriously trying to make this more of an effort, like I was obviously talking about a whole bunch recently. So here it is, another YouTube exclusive, which means, of course, if you enjoy it, hit that sub button, click the little bell, and get notifications when we put more YouTube content up. And of course, don't forget as well, you can like and comment on the video, helps us get a few more views on it, and help us reach our goal of becoming YouTube millionaires, or, well, you know, just getting a few more people to watch the YouTube channel in general. That would be step number 1. So, hello, welcome. We've got a fun series for you here from the Olimoleague number 167, about the round of 8, maybe round of 16. Either way, obviously 2 very good players, 2 players who, you know, absolutely have it in them to go on and win it all. So in the bottom right hand side, our red Terran from Storm Gaming, GuMiho, is first in the arena, and he is already kind of not really proxying, but more hiding the racks away. It's kind of like a sub proxy in a way. It's like, you know, you throw the racks out there, so Trap definitely thinks it's going to be something aggressive, but then you do just make like one Reaper, your racks can make it home that little bit faster, and you kind of just go from there. So just getting that Reaper up. And of course, Trap will try and stick around to figure out what's going on. And of course, that means our blue Protoss in the top left is current GSL semi-finalist Trap. He's going to show us a bit of PvT ahead of his semi-finals in the GSL against Maru this coming week, if you're watching this video close to its launch. If not, then, well, you guys probably know the results, and you can be like, wow, this was just a sign of what was going to come, or something along those lines, perhaps. I don't know. So, yeah, thanks for dropping by, and thanks for checking out the YouTube exclusive. Always good to dive into some Olimoleague stuff, and of course, those replays are always available if you sign up to the Olimoleague Patreon. I'll put the link in the comment description down below. And of course, if you want to support me, check out my Patreon. But more importantly, hit that sub button. Really, it really does help. We are behind our schedule for subs, so we'll try and catch back up. Hence, you know, obviously doing 2 YouTube videos in 1 week. I mean, what's that about, Wardy? Come on, like. Alright, all seriousness though, let's focus up. 2.5 minutes in and Stargate dropping down. So we've seen our first textures from both players. There's also a factory build and a Hellion here from GuMiho. Now this can't be reacted because of course the barracks is out on the map, so that's what you would use to build the reactor. He's going into multiple Reapers, so this is a 3rd Reaper now on the way out. So this is looking like it could be like a bit of a run by from GuMiho. You know, multiple Reapers, a few grenades, bumper waste of units. It's quite an aggressive force, and the real strength of Reaper Hellion is that it will be very aggressive very quickly, right? Reapers and Hellions are pretty much the fastest units you can build out of a Terran army. Obviously, you can build Marines, right? But the Marines lack the mobility that Reapers and Hellions have. And so pushing across the map with 1 or 2 Marines is also pretty weak. Early game, these Reapers actually have a substantial amount of damage output and mobility to really make them a threat. So let's see what GuMiho can do. 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions going to be moving up to the top side, and I mean, this is most likely just going to be the dive-by onto the base. A shield battery at the front means that Trap is being very safe. He hasn't seen anything yet. Even the first Reaper was pretty passive, so he's going to have a Phoenix as well, so you can lift up 1 Hellion. That should be the initial choice. Lifts up the full health Hellion, which means the one on lower health is going to be more easily picked off. And now the Reapers are the big threat, and they get blocked. And 1 probe goes down. Probe number 2 goes down, but I feel like 2 probes is absolutely fine to lose to this, as that's obviously not really very much damage at all on the natural. A shield battery heals up against 1 Hellion too, so what a disaster from GuMiho. Everything going down there and not dealing any damage in any way, shape, or form. Well, GuMiho is going to continue to be aggressive. Cyclone and a Banshee on the way up. I mean, I say be aggressive. Maybe he just needs something of a response to anything that Trap has, because Trap obviously just killed a lot of GuMiho's early game units, and there's always going to be that threat of just moving across the map and having a lot of units to just attack with. So GuMiho sets up that bunker. Obviously, the Cyclone is pretty good at deflecting Stargate-based plays early on as well, as the last Hellion came back in and got killed off. So yeah, Cyclone getting some good lock-ons, getting some good damage to those Phoenix, honestly, and what will be interesting is what this Banshee can do. You're going to have to try and keep it safe from the Phoenix. There's no cloak coming up for it, so detection is not going to be a problem here, as we see the Cyclone locks on just for a moment there again. It kind of feels like there's just one big push coming out of GuMiho. Lots of Marines, the Banshee. It's a lot of high damage output kind of units being built. Obviously, the couple Cyclones would do good. As the starport lifts up and moves to a reactor, maybe not so much. Maybe just making a bunch of cyclones to make sure you can deflect the Phoenix. I guess the Banshee is maybe because he knows there's no shield battery in the main base, at least early on, so he feels as though it's a decent chance. Maybe he only built one because he was already kind of going into it, and then he saw the Phoenix numbers. Yeah, it's not going to work out. I mean, this one Phoenix from Trap comes up to the top side in a pretty brilliant moment, and he's going to find that Brand Banshee, and that is going to be completely shut down. So, whatever the idea was with the Cloakless Banshee play, has not paid off in any way, shape, or form. Double reactor on the barracks means we will not be seeing stim and combat at the same time. As siege tank production starts, it'll just be stim back initially with the +1. 2 medevac should be looking to be the next 200 gas spent here from GuMiho as well as he finishes his wall across this front area. It makes obviously running past it with adepts or zealots that much harder, so if Trap did get aggressive, GuMiho would have a bit of a better time. I mean, you have to imagine as stim and +1 finishes here, GuMiho is looking for something of an attack, you know? Especially because it's just got double reactor, he's going to have so many Marines. And tanks, when you get 2 of those, obviously great offensively as well. Still waiting for that starport to do anything of real value here, as we just have a single Marine on the map looking for some information. This is Winter's Gate, we didn't talk much about the map, but there's a little bit of an intriguing one with those inhibitor zones, etc. Trap expands down the left-hand side, which I always love because pushing up, it's become the meta from Pros players actually. Like, over the last couple of weeks, it's really become the better position to expand in. Because of this base here being obviously out of position, or more in position, but abusable by the inhibitor zone and rocks. If you put tanks behind here pushing into that, it's actually kind of hard for the Protoss to clean up, etc. So taking this position in a more open space makes it much more tougher for the Terran player to take advantage there. As the Oracle will get shot down just before the Phoenix make the triple lift up to stop those Cyclones firing. So still getting the Oracle, that is nice. Combat shields will now start from GuMiho. I mean, if he pushes out, there is going to be maybe a 3rd CC behind it because it is only 3 racks, so there's not like 5 racks he'll consistently produce and, you know, use up all his money. In fact, he has about 400 minerals now, so it's about the time for him to move out, you know, build a 3rd base and also go for this push because stim and +1 are done, combat shields on the way. Very interesting that he did decide to wait for or go double tech lab. It means he's got a lot of Marines. Okay, he's just going to pull the SCVs, so he is going to be pretty all in then. It just means he's got a lot of Marines, and obviously then, you know, generally, like I say, like if you go stim and combat at the same time, it kind of makes more sense, but it has less units, so the double reactor kind of tells the idea of, oh, you know, I think I'm going to pull the boys and probably be a bit more aggressive in general. As here we go, the SCVs get stormed. I mean, I've done a bad job telling you guys about what was coming up on the Protoss side of things, but there is Storm available, and Storm is very good against the SCV all-in. As we see, the couple storms landed down here to push these Marines back. It's very good against the SCV all-in because the problem with the idea of SCVs is to tank damage, but there's not a lot of damage being tanked when the SCVs die to those storms. Obviously, the storm on top of the tanks here pretty good as well, and well, the tanks go down. Now it's just a bunch of Marines that are going to try and save the day. There is an Archon in the front that is firing, but well, not doing the best so far. It's just going to be seeing these other Marines going to be chased backwards here. Now GG, Trap will take game number 1 of this best of 3. Yeah, just to reiterate what I was saying about the SCV pull against Storm. So SCV pull against Colossus, the idea is the Colossus spend time hitting the SCV line rather than the Marine Marauder line, so that by the time you've broken through the forward Zealots and that kind of wall of defensive units, by the time that is done, you are actually still having enough bio up to go and fight the Colossus. Now, it's a bit different with Storm, because obviously Storm just sort of casts, and, you know, the SCVs start going down, and yeah, okay, some of the gateway units are still kind of taking some damage, but it doesn't really take away the splash damage from the bio units, and that really is where the problem kind of arises. It just gets into a very awkward spot, and obviously as well, the best thing about High Templar in this scenario, you can Storm and then morph in Archons, so you actually have that second wave of aggression, and in general, obviously this game went very well for Trap as well. But you got to just remember, too, that this was also a good follow-up based on what GuMiho did. So pretty much everything kind of just went Trap's way, to put it simply, but a couple of cool little intricacies all mixed in there. As Trap takes game 1 of this best of 3, then let's go hopping into game number 2 to see what happens. So, game number 2, and we enter Ephemeron. As we have to the bottom right-hand side, our Red Terran player, GuMiho. It's very interesting, clan decal. I feel like these clan decals have just been so bugged out since they were introduced. There's been so many times when they just get set up to, like, it's just silly, like, at this point. They just bug out, they get baited into things that they're not, and I'm pretty sure that's not GuMiho's actual what he wants to have spin in there, part of the Psystorm clan. Pretty sure they'd have a proper logo, but alas, here we are. As we have to the top left-hand side, our blue Protoss play a trap, and we go into game number 2. Maybe this is just going to be GuMiho's face when he wins this game. He's like, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Maybe it's his face when he loses this game. He's like, well, you know, I'm still good. I just had to play Protoss. In seriousness, PvT balance has taken a very interesting turn lately with the enhanced shockwave upgrade. It's made PvT extremely exciting later in the game, and I do hope, obviously, that last game kind of ended on 2 bases before we saw ghosts and stuff being brought into play, but I kind of hope we see something a little bit longer between Trap and GuMiho here, because that enhanced shockwave upgrade is very interesting. It really does make that mid to late game so much more exciting from the Terran point of view, where it's not just over if the Protoss has that kind of mega army, which maybe it wasn't before as well, but it just gives that Terran the extra little bit of oomph, I think, that they needed. Whether it's maybe a bit too much is still yet to be seen. Obviously, we have a bit of a adjustment period right now where Protoss players will be figuring out, okay, well, how do I deal with that EMP? What's the best way to set up my armies and so on? That kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and whether it is maybe a bit too much or if it really does just bring that matchup to being something very different. Obviously, so far, GuMiho's had no interest of going there, but that was only game 1. We'll see what happens in a game number 2 here. Nice large map in Ephemeron as well. So nice and large, and yeah, I should be able to really get this one going as we do have the probe coming up the right-hand side. Nexus and Cybercore continue to come into play. Nothing too crazy back at home for Trap at all, as we just set up and continue onward. Reaper will go across towards the upper left as well. It's just looking for some early scouting information, which should be able to pick up on. Of course, at the moment, there's no tech structure down, so not super eager to get into the main base. But as he hops up and start running around a little bit, there's the Twilight Council, so actually now would be a good time to run back then to see what's happening, get some damage on a probe. Obviously, the Adept is out, though, so it's a little bit scary going far enough forwards to really be able to see this, as can't escape over the right-hand side here. And he very unfortunately involved some sturge work in the main base, and because of that, it's not really possible to jump on out. Terran players hate it. What are all these pipes for? Just give Terran the chance to jump up and down with their Reapers, goddammit. Fortunately, it does stop over here. It's actually quite a nice little Reaper jump up halfway, so I believe you can also jump up in this very corner here, I think. I'm not 100% certain about it, but it looks as though you should be able to. So it's actually a pretty nice map for actually being able to jump up and get some information on, which isn't so bad. It is a nice large map anyways, right? So denied info isn't super vital. Now, we do see a Concussive Shell Marauder opening out of GuMiho, so he is going to go pretty aggressively here in the early stages into a second racks pretty early on as well, and a factory. So you'll have a pretty fast stim pack to work with. Now, a pylon coming up on the natural. There is no shield battery yet, as we've seen from Trap in the previous game. So we'll see that Reaper just hopping up in towards the main. The Adept going to go and shade after that Reaper, as they will be able to get the kill. Reaper gets the full scout off, though, and it keeps the Adept busy as the Marauders show up on the front. Stalker's not immediately out of position, so the Marauders will instead just go for a probe kill or two, and they'll get that pretty quickly, as we'll see them turn onto a Stalker. 2 Stalkers against 1 Marauder. Should go the way of the Stalkers. There you have it, the Stalker's able to pick that off, so good defense here from Trap. I mean, lost 2 probes. That's really very manageable, all things considered, honestly, as we see this Adept from Trap continuing down to the bottom right-hand side. Blink. All the way up here as well. To get this very ready to go. There's a very weird noise outside. I'm like, what on earth is going on? Sorry. Get myself a little bit distracted. Yeah, it was just a very loud noise outside. I'm like, what is that? Actually, and I honestly don't know, so there you go. Apologies, guys. I just kind of thought maybe this was the end. The build was about to fall down or something because it was very loud and very weird. Anyways, all good. Fortune Robo Bay coming up. I guess if you guys see this video on YouTube, I did survive whatever that noise is, and it didn't come back and get me, at least not right away. As the Stalker's coming back down the bottom side, see what's going on. Raven is on the way up from GuMiho in the main, and that's a pretty much a bit more of a typical 2-base push from the Terran player being set up right there. The Raven obviously gives you a lot of opportunity as the Stalkers blink back from that bunker. Raven gives you a lot of opportunity when you get aggressive. There's so much use for it, and as we see, Colossus is going to be set up here from Trap. Obviously, the interference matrix on the Colossus is so valuable. You can get so much done with that, so I'd imagine that would be kind of the go-to here. As the Immortal about halfway done. And then going to go into the first Colossus. And the Twilight Council will start charge. Not too many Stalkers made, which I also love as well. You know, just 4 Stalkers means that you're not putting too much gas into them, which means you've got a lot of gas to go into the rest of your tech choices. So yeah, these few Stalkers heading down the bottom right. They are going to be arriving at the front and just sort of sitting here as we do see a Stim. Just chasing Observer down in the main base. Observer gets away. Auto turret will grab the kill, but that's 50 energy down. Obviously 50 energy for 75 gas of units is very worthwhile, but it may affect the idea of being able to be as aggressive with that Raven, because that's one less matrix you have across the map. So in a way that's nice. Obviously not having an Observer kind of sucks. He's got one more, and obviously he doesn't really want to build another because he's really focused on getting Colossus out. So building an Observer is just 20 seconds of robo build time you don't really want to lose out on just yet. So got to be careful about that as GuMiho will start to unload over to the left-hand side. Marines and Marauders dropping down, and then actually going to stim in there. So will kill the Adept, but not before the SCV falls. You can see that GuMiho obviously has good intentions of taking the 3rd CC this game. Is not going to pull the boys with this attack, and is just looking to put on a bit of pressure and see what he might be able to achieve here on Ephemeron as he moves out into the center. Now we have Stalkers from Trap, going to split up a little bit here. We'll go a couple different ways as a Marine from GuMiho leading the charge forwards. Stalkers from Trap come over and will very quickly pick that Marine off, no problem at all. There's 2 more Liberators on the way out from GuMiho. Still a bit of Marine Marauder stimming forwards there, and yeah, well, GuMiho is going to jump up the right-hand side. 3rd Nexus on the way out as the Raven from GuMiho continuing to set up. Bio's going to stim, and well, still a couple Stalkers hitting that Raven, dealing a bit more damage. Pressing forwards here. Trap is going to be well, activating that Guardian Shield. We do see the Zealot going to go charging in on the bottom side as well to the 3rd base. +1 attack on the Forge coming up as well, as we do see Marines and a Marauder continue to come across. The Zealot will go down, and that SCV from GuMiho jumps onto the command center there. As we're going to be seeing 2 more barracks added in at the front, a tech lab and a reactor. Just getting that tech lab and the reactor going here as we see the Colossus continuing on out. It's going to be about halfway done here, so looking good as GuMiho is pushing around the left. I mean, he's been quite active on the map with that army for a little while now without really showing any signs or intentions of truly pushing in. So GuMiho is still hanging out to the left here for a moment. This does give, obviously, Trap a huge opening just to push down into that 3rd base. I mean, his army's going to come across. He sees that a whole Terran army isn't there. He is bringing his Zealots and Stalkers out the natural. I feel like that's a mistake because he sees that there's units missing here, right? So bringing these units across, maybe he is just committed to the full-on base trade. Into that, obviously, you can then just recall back home after dealing some amount of damage. Let's see how much GuMiho can do, though, as he is going flying into the natural. And actually, Trap backs away. Maybe he doesn't know that the whole army is there, right? You know, maybe he thinks this is actually just a part of the army. There's the recall going off. Oh, sorry, maybe he didn't. I said that wrong. Maybe he thinks that the whole army was there, and he was just seeing the front units of it. Now, that's obviously quite a shame. Now GuMiho is actually going to be sandwiched in between a bunch of, well, Protoss units. As, oh, well, no, he's going to make a sandwich out of the sandwich! He's flipped this bread upside down as you see the Colossus going to be saved by the Warp Prism. The Liberators, though, will chase, and that Warp Prism will go down, and the Colossus is stuck. Oh, well, that is a bit of a shame. The Bio units are super low HP. They've stimmed themselves a lot in the last couple of moments as Liberators continue to chase the Colossus here. High Tempo will morph into Archons. Liberators sieging up. There's one of them going to be just about in range of the Archons morphing, but looks as though that will be that. Man, this was crazy. Obviously, Trap was kind of sandwiching this drop of GuMiho, but GuMiho came from the bottom right and got Trap's army here, and that went very well for GuMiho because he picked off a lot of tech units, and Trap really didn't pick off much at all. Liberator Council looked good. Trap did get the Raven, but only after it had the interference matrices off. They were very well placed interference matrices. One on the Colossus to stop some damage, and one on the Prism to stop the Colossus from being saved was really nice. It really maximized what GuMiho was able to pick off there. So that really did go well for GuMiho, and suddenly a 60 supply lead. GuMiho looking very good as Liberator is going to see jump across the right side. Zealots are going to go running out over to the side as well. I like this as well. It kind of sells the idea that GuMiho is still over here defending, right? I wonder how much this Observer saw. There's a couple of force fields will drop down. There's still a bit of a gap, so Bio is getting up and toward the natural. What is Trap going to do? Recall is still on cooldown for a little while here, so this time he's just caught out of position, being on the map. A little bit unnecessarily, honestly, as we see the Stalkers continue to drop down there. Cannon will go down. This Nexus is in some trouble. Probes continue to be picked off as well as the Liberators are going to get themselves a couple of Archon kills here, it would seem. There's one Archon, there's two. I'm just going to see those Bio units splitting up a little bit. More Zealots dropping down, and this Bio Force is just going to keep on stimming forwards. Another couple of Colossus will continue to take a lot of damage here, and that is pretty much going to be it. As we see GuMiho 120 supply and Trap on 50. Trap down to 2 bases against the 3. GuMiho will land up a couple of Vikings here, and actually one of them, well, kind of a weird attack, is actually now being brought back a little bit anyways. GuMiho has reinforcements coming to clean up these Stalkers. Obviously his economy is good enough to keep producing units, and the Stalkers are just trying to capitalize on whatever they can, but this is a done deal. Those Vikings coming in from the back are an interesting force. I guess in the end they do distract the army and stop it from running for a little while, and gives GuMiho a chance to get up in front. GG's. GuMiho picks up game 2 and ties us up with Trap here, 1-1. With a game 3 on the way, guys, let's just hop into that and have a look to see what happens. GuMiho making this a series. A third and final series. Series? Map. You know, if I was a professional YouTuber, I'd rewind the 10 seconds of this replay and go again. But I'm not. I'm here. You guys can listen to me make mistakes. As we have to the top left-hand side, I was about to say our third Protoss player. No, our red Protoss player, Trap, from Jin Green Wings. And he is up against the blue Terran in the bottom right from Psystorm Gaming, GuMiho. As we enter a third and final game. There we go. Got it in the end. Yeah, just thinking about what else we might cast in the YouTube channel in the upcoming days. There's a couple more cool series from Olimoleague. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few things going on. I've not really made any decisions yet. I know sometimes I give you guys a bit of a heads up. But there's also... I'm also thinking about how to do the YouTube Showdown series a bit better. Last time we had a show match and it was okay, but maybe I was thinking about doing maybe like a full group that we cast for YouTube or something like that. Just to make it a bit... I don't know. Basically the YouTube Showdown that we had last week was... It was good, it was fun, but it didn't really get the viewership I was expecting, despite it being promoted very well and so on. It did just as well as other videos, which obviously when you invest $100 into it, isn't so great. So I'm kind of thinking of ways to improve that a little bit, basically. So that's maybe a little bit of a spoiler about what might be coming up here on the YouTube. But that's pretty much all I've got in terms of some info for you guys, as we do have action on the map here. Trap, one gate at home, one gate across the map, and obviously, so far, GuMiho has no real way of scouting that. He does not SCV scout here on Disco Bloodbath.
Command center upgrade complete.
Command center upgrade complete. The Orbital Command is done. You know what? That's so nice. That's no announcer pack. When was the last time you guys heard StarCraft being played without an announcer pack? Usually when one plays Vision, especially Korean players, we have the Diva voice pack on. You know, a lot of the other players use a lot of the, you know, popular commentator voice packs. That was the straight up... I feel like I've not heard just the straight up regular announcers in a very long time. That caught me a little bit off guard, honestly. Reaper comes across the map and uh-oh, no Nexus. GuMiho, what are you going to do about that? The Adept is already shaded into your natural expansion and your SCV is already taking hits. You have a Marine up. In fact, a Barracks built a tech lab, so you can go into a Marauder here, but it's Adept production, and Adept's obviously pretty... Well, it's kind of weird, like, Adepts don't kill Marauders, and Marauders don't really kill Adepts, so it's kind of a bit of a standoff. You see the Adept shades up there, the Marine is kept alive for just a few moments longer. So we have got a couple of Adepts continuing to fight away at the command center here. Again, Adepts kind of miss the damage you really want to be kind of, you know, properly shutting down this CC. You can kill the SCVs, but that's about it. As you can see, Marauders and Adepts don't really kill each other very quickly or effectively at all, so a couple of Adepts will go shading forwards there. SCV pulls back down to jump on the command center. Adept going forwards, Hellion and a Reaper going to take some damage. Just a few more Adepts coming around Stalker as well. Getting this set to go as Adepts continue to shade out over to the left-hand side. Well, they will survive for the moment. The Reaper and the Hellion is going to come across and going to be able to find the pylon, so we'll put some pressure there, which pulls the Adepts away to defend, right, as GuMiho was able to finish the orbital. Morphing that in. Whoa! Wow, there's a fleet beacon coming up to join this proxied Stargate, so Trap is actually going to go hyper-aggressive with the Stargate coming up. It's, oh, well, GuMiho's going to come back over here and see the Stargate
Base
not building
is under
anything.
attack.
So, GuMiho's getting a lot of info, but, I mean, he doesn't. I mean, what's interesting, he might just think the Stargate's not being used because he's seen it. When in reality, it's going to be the Tempest on the way very shortly, and the Tempest, well, of course, it depends if the Reaper kind of, decides to re-scout that or not. Notice Tempest does just let you be a little bit more effective in your setup against it. And, set up properly, because you kind of want to get the starport to a reactor and build as many Vikings as possible. Whereas against a regular kind of Stargate, you kind of want to build just the one Viking. Push back the Oracle, you should be fine. GuMiho lands this Viking, but I'm not sure how much attention he's paying to it, as, does he recognize that that is going to be the Tempest building there? Well, he does go back into a second Viking, as now he's going to try and drop the Marauders onto this pylon. If he can get this pylon, that would be huge, and it's going to be pretty close. He might stop the Tempest coming out. Well, that is actually huge for GuMiho. Stopping the Tempest from building really shuts down Trap's idea right now. And yes, the pylon is going to come back down. He will re-expand to this. Obviously, Trap will defend this pylon now, but it gives GuMiho so much more time to deal with this, of course. So, GuMiho giving himself the few moments, the few seconds he might need in StarCraft 2 seconds, and, well, that's a lot of seconds he's bought himself. Seconds are a very important resource, and, well, Tempest will finish up in a moment, so the damage will start to be done as Marauders drop off here at the front. Depth will go down, and here comes, what does the Tempest do actually? Where does it decide to push? GuMiho, that one siege tank is not going to do a lot because the Tempest can just pick that down pretty quickly. Tempest currently fighting against Marines, which funnily enough don't get one shot by it. Shield batteries are starting to come up, so obviously the Tempest will heal over time. You can see the Viking and Marines trying to get some more damage onto it. And the more damage you do now, the more healing that shield battery is going to do, and the more, the faster it's going to get drained of energy. So it's a little bit frustrating. The starport never went to a tech lab. To a reactor, sorry. He did build the second Viking, but he never put himself in a position where he's actually reactoring out Vikings, which is kind of the answer to this. You want to get a Viking count so high that you can realistically just push these Tempests back with ease. That, or you get enough Marines up to obviously come in and fight again and again. Cyclone lock-ons can do okay, but, well, not without, not if you're going to just let them die to the Tempest, and it kind of feels like this is going a little bit downhill already as the Tempests are continuing to pick up so many kills, and, well, GuMiho might just die. There's another Viking loss. He's now putting the starport in the reactor. I feel like this is way too little, way too late. I mean, what is this missile turret meant to do? In what world does Trap let that missile turret finish? GuMiho, what are you doing right now? You gotta be kidding me, buddy. I don't believe there's any world he believes. I think he knows this game is over and that missile turret is just a what if. Like, it is very, very over. 3 Tempests here. He has absolutely 0 anti-air bar, like 1 or 2 Marines. That's not going to be enough, and Trap will take this series 2-1. If you guys enjoyed, please do consider leaving a like on the video. Do consider commenting down below. It helps us a lot for the YouTube algorithms and in terms of getting our content out there. We are still on the road towards 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have some fun stuff planned to kind of help us get there. Like I said, trying to get back on track on the YouTube channel in general, and we've got so much happening on the stream, it's kind of tough, but I'm going to make a real effort to get some more series up for you guys. So hope you enjoyed this YouTube exclusive. Have a great day, and of course, continue to enjoy those daily uploads from the stream over the next couple of days. Have a great time, guys. I'll see you